Okay. Oh, I can't really see that so great. Okay. Hello, I think I'm sorry. I can't see the prompter, sorry. Sorry. Improv. Okay. Hello, Dartmouth, and thank you to President Bylock and the Board of Trustees for this invitation to speak to you today. I'm sorry, I gotta use sorry. Okay, class of 88, the eyes go. Okay. Okay, welcome to family, to friends, the faculty and staff, and even some dogs wearing green bandanas. And hello to the graduating class of 2026. We are here to celebrate your achievement, for today, you earn your degree. Yes, and not to brag, but I also just earned a degree here today. For most of you, that's a Bachelor of Arts, and for me, it's a doctorate. For you, it took 4 long years, and for me, less than a minute. I guess I'm just a quick study. You know, it doesn't matter. This isn't about comparing. The point is, we're all wearing robes, and at the end of the day, we all put our robes on one leg at a time. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't welcome my fellow doctorate scholars here. We're all doctors now together. We're the same. You were an ambassador or something. You researched algorithms for solving geometric optimization problems. That's great. I had a crazy eyebrow move up and down in an Adam Sandler movie. They know. Yeah, I was on SNL. I mean, how many of my fellow doctors wore 13 wigs in one night? You know what? Don't answer that. I don't want to know about your personal lives. But we're the same now, equal footing. Yeah, I've done TV, movies, and currently I'm on Broadway in the Rocky Horror Show. And I have to leave right after this speech to go do the matinee. Fancy, right? But class of 26, I'm not here just as any random celebrity speaker. As you just heard, I come to you as a proud alumna of the class of 88. And I'm especially honored to address you as a woman because, as we heard, Dartmouth is marking a special anniversary of 50 years since Dartmouth started admitting women. Yes. Let's all applaud something other colleges did 100 years earlier. Dartmouth, we'll get there eventually. But you gotta give it up for those first women. They endured catcalls, ridicule, and sexism from men who felt threatened by their brilliance. Thankfully, those things never happen today. Before Dartmouth went co-ed 50 years ago, there were 0 women in Dartmouth's graduating class and 0 women in the Senate. But now, the class is half female, and the Senate is 26% female. Thought that was gonna be a more impressive number when I started talking. Shoot, that is still not great. But still, Dartmouth has come a long way, producing women Olympic athletes to scientists to, yes, for my class, one of those women senators. And this Dartmouth woman is 100% happy to be back. So, thank you. So, I'm here because I get you, class of 26, okay? We've all had the same experiences. I've walked these same paths, studied at these same desks, and run around the same bonfires at homecoming. We've all scrambled through the snow from a party in 10 below weather, having lost our coats, wearing nothing but ankle boots and a slinky party top. We've all lived at 311 Hitchcock freshman year, gotten a bad lottery number and been booted down to the river cluster sophomore fall. The river cluster, our first taste of studying abroad. We've all overslept our modern art history final exam, woken up with 5 minutes left to take the test, booked it over to Silsby in our pajamas, and begged the professor to let us take the test, right? Okay, maybe some of these are just me, but the point is, I once sat in the same seats that you sit in right now. And if you ever told me I would do the commencement speech, well, I would be shocked. Mainly because I didn't really feel like the quintessential Dartmouth student. It took a while for me to feel like I fit in here. And I guess it all started with the freshman trip. I picked the easiest one, level 1 hike. Graduates, the hike was perfectly flat, okay? It was so flat that there was a girl who did it on crutches. I'm not kidding. She had signed up for a higher level hike and then twisted her ankle being a tennis champion or something. She was able to do my hike on crutches. And eventually, I did catch up to her. And I remain opposed to hiking to this day. But my sophomore winter, as you just heard, I got into the improv group here, which was then called Said and Done. And there it was. I felt at home. I felt like I found my crowd. I spent most of my time at the Hop, finally getting into some plays there. And not only that, my social life really started to pick up. It really started to blossom. I was surrounded by men. Yeah, swarm of adoring, handsome Dartmouth men around me all the time. Now, it turns out they were all gay and came out after graduation. In hindsight, I was developing my fan base early. Shout out to Chris, Tom, and Bob, who are in the crowd today. Yes. Jeff, Dan, and David couldn't make it. They're probably dancing shirtless at a Pride event right now. And looking damn good doing it. Okay, well, now I'm kicking this commencement speech into high gear. I think I can relate to the youth today. To give this speech, I was low-key pumped and low-genuinely hype. See, I get you, right? Research. Standing behind this venerated stump, I feel like the Lorax, only not quite as tall. I'll bestow you with wisdom to launch you into the world on your life path. Sure, when my speech started, you were uncertain, lost, and sad. But thanks to mere minutes of me speaking, you'll have a sense of purpose. You'll be standing up a little straighter, your hair more lustrous, and you'll be ready to take on the world. Now, some of you may know what your plans are next, and some of you may not. When I sat where you are, I did not. I had this crazy little dream that I wanted to try to maybe become an actor. It sounded insane. I had no idea how to achieve this, but I knew I wanted to at least try. I did major in drama when I was here, modified with psychology, so I knew if it didn't work out, I could go back to the suburbs of Boston and become a therapist. But how does one try for a thing for which there is no path? Well, I thought I'd do what everyone else does who doesn't know what's next, apply to grad school. Yeah, so for acting grad school, you go to this audition where you do your monologues in front of like 40 schools in this one audition, okay? And guess what? I did not get into my number one choice. I also did not get into choices 2 through 40. That's right, I did not get in anywhere. I was starting off my quest with a giant capital letters, no. Now, I could have taken that to mean you aren't good enough to even try acting. 40 experts just told you that. But the grad school no made me change course and take the big risk of moving to Chicago to try to get into the renowned Second City Theater. Now, first step for that is their classes. Lucky for me, I was told that anyone with a little improv experience and a pulse could get into classes. I had both. But guess what? I did not get in to the classes. Yeah, and I had just moved there for this. Another big no. Now, a reasonable person might have packed it in right there, but something in me told me to stick with it. And the next time around, I did get into classes and went on to do improv in the back of bars, go to the Second City Touring Company, onto the main stage, and eventually, finally, a chance to audition for Saturday Night Live. This meteoric rise took 9 years. And Rachel, that's when you finally got the job? Nope, I didn't get hired off my first audition at SNL either. But I got to audition again the following year, and that's when I got the phone call. I was hired by Saturday Night Live. Yes. By the way, one little off-the-cuff thing. My mom is here in the audience, and I just wanted to say that my mom and my dad, who's here, because I'm woo-woo like that, but they never said, don't try this. They never even gave me a non-verbal, like, what are you doing? So I just want to thank my parents for encouraging me to try this crazy thing. So yes, I made it from Dartmouth to SNL, but here's what I want you to take from my experience. Don't let those rejections define who you are and make you lose faith in yourself. Sure, the word no can sting, and believe me, it still can. But sometimes a no is just a not yet. Maybe it's just not the right moment. Maybe you need more training and experience. Or maybe like me with grad school, that no can be a magical guardrail pointing you to a yes you hadn't even thought of. Okay, so I followed my dream, right? I made it from Dartmouth to SNL. That's great, Dr. Dratch, you're thinking. Yeah. It all worked out. You got to pursue your little individual comedy dream, but we're graduating in a different time. Look at the world right now. Friends have been asking me, Rachel, what are you going to tell the graduates? And I'm like, I'm not going to tell them anything negative. La, 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 la. I'm going to keep it light and breezy, right? But I do have a friend who will address these dark times for me. She'll take it on head on. She does not hold back. So with assistance from your own classmate, Noah Prescott, let's give a brief part of the speech over to Debbie Downer. Hello, graduates. What an honor it is to be here on this beautiful green. Careful on the lawn, ladies. If you're wearing any sort of a heel, wet grass can be a tripping hazard. Okay? It's quite an achievement graduating from Dartmouth. Of course, thanks to AI, there won't be any jobs left, so congrats to all on your mandatory gap years. It's inspiring to see all your fresh minds ready to take on the world. Sadly, due to the construction of data centers and the impending water wars, the most useful college majors now are foraging and hand-to-hand combat. There we go. Yeah, AI may take all our jobs and clean drinking water, but at least we can all see what we'd look like as leather daddy Santa. Thank you, Noah. Thank you, Noah. That's enough out of you, Debbie Downer. Well, I sincerely hope that one or more of you becomes a benevolent world leader who will cure all the world's ills. But that is a lot to ask. So I try to fight off life's downers by doing what I can with how I show up in the world. For me, that's to try to make people laugh or give them an escape from their day in a play or a movie. You are going to bring your own unique talents into the world using gifts you have naturally combined with the Dartmouth education you're so lucky to have had. Maybe that means being a scientist who finds breakthrough cures, or a lawyer who frees the innocent, the conservationist who protects our planet, the director of an art center right over there, like our newly renovated hop we have right here, inspiring people to create art, which is a key element to triumph over the world's downers. Or maybe you share your gifts by being a yoga instructor, a rabbi, a death doula, or a painter, like the friends who I have here from my class who came up to see me today. You're leaving Dartmouth with the tools and knowledge you can use for good. I mean, look at me. I took one film class here, and now I can say, I think Truffaut expressed it best in the film Les Quatre Cents Coups. It makes me insufferable at cocktail parties. And that's really what an Ivy League education is all about. But remember, no matter how smart you are, you don't know everything. And you're gonna find a lot of people as you move forward who didn't even go to college, who may know a lot more than you do on a variety of topics. So keep it humble, Dartmouth. But life beyond Dartmouth isn't just about what you've learned, and it's about way more than your career. What sustains me at the end of the day isn't signing autographs after my Broadway show, meeting Paul McCartney at the SNL 50th, or my solid gold toilet that all celebrities use due to its cooling properties. It's not even my standing weekly reservation at Per Se for a 16-course tasting menu with wine pairing, though now that I say this all out loud, it does sound pretty awesome. No, it's my family, my dog Ruffles, and my friends who feel like family, many of whom I met right here at Dartmouth. Which brings me to a takeaway I'd like to share from my life in comedy. Improv is all about the ensemble. You're building scenes together with no script. To do that, you need listening, you need trust, and it helps if you have fun. And the best part is, if one night you're in the weeds, not bringing your A game, you're not gonna be left hanging because someone else could jump in and save the scene, and you're gonna do the same thing for them. The safety of the ensemble makes the unknown less scary. So class of 2026, look around. This is your ensemble. This is the last time your class will be all gathered together in one place, but this is by no means the end of your class connection. Hopefully you have a friend group from Dartmouth like I do all these years later. We have our text chains, we're there for births, vacations, and yes, funerals. But take it from me, your friendships from here can be for life. But maybe you're someone who didn't get very social here or didn't feel like you were part of the mainstream. You don't bleed green or have granite in your muscles or your brains. I'm talking to you too. You may end up best friends with someone sitting here right now that you barely knew all 4 years. That actually happened to me with my friend Ricky. We did one play together my sophomore year, and years later, we met up and eventually became best friends who vacation together, do holidays. We're practically family. Or you go to a reunion. Some people hold back on going to reunions because they don't feel like they've achieved this or that. But I say, just go. I've gone to everyone, not because I'm so rah-rah Dartmouth, but what often happens is you'll meet someone interesting you never knew before. Or you may have a conversation with someone you previously thought was a total biatch, and then you're like, you know what? I was wrong. She's only a partial biatch. And she was carrying her own pain at the time. I'm mature enough to see that now. Or a guy you thought was a real asshat frat bro, and go to the reunion, you talk to him, and you're like, you know what? I was right all along. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point is you have an ensemble. Of course you'll go on to connect with people beyond Dartmouth, but keep the ensemble strong. Rely on each other, celebrate each other, and be there for each other for difficulties too, not just the shiny stuff that gets written up in class notes. Make the agreement that just being in the class of 2026 together is enough of a bond. This isn't the end of your class as a class. In fact, it's kind of a beginning. It's called a commencement. One more life lesson from the world of comedy before I go. There's a saying in improv to follow the fear. A little bit of stage fright is actually a good thing. There you are on stage, not knowing what you're going to do next. Following the fear means you're going to have a heightened, energized performance. You're alert and ready for anything. And you most likely find something to say you didn't even know you had in you. Something much better than anything you could have planned. So if you're having any kind of fear about leaving Hanover, remember, that fear can mean you're about to do something you didn't think you could. You know, they say attaching a physical action to a thought makes the thought stick with you longer. I remember that from my learning class in psychology with Professor Jernstedt here, but maybe it's something I just saw on TikTok, I'm not sure. Anyway, there's this ritual we do in improv before stepping out on stage. We go up to everyone in the group and touch their back and say, got your back. It's a concrete way to connect and know you have support for whatever's about to happen. So now, class of 2026, to lock in your ensemble, reach out, yes, with your actual hands, and clap the backs of the people next to you and say, got your back, and mean it. Why not try it up here too? Got your back, got your back, got your back. Okay, now good. You've sealed it in. You've sealed in the ensemble. Well, I did what I said I was going to do. Change your lives with this commencement speech. You've worked so hard, and you're ready to step out in that big improv scene of life. I hope you use your extraordinary gifts to fill the world with purpose, joy, and community, because it can be real rough out there. Wait a minute, Noah! We're not going to end this whole thing with a sad trombone. We're not going to end it all with a sad trombone, are we, Noah? There we go. We're going to end with happy trombones and other brass instruments, because remember, the ensemble will always have your back. Congratulations, class of 2026. Hit it!